What's up, y'all? It's Andy, Epeius Garage, and it's been a while since I put a video out, but I did finish my cabinets. Now, this cabinet video is not me showing you how to build cabinets, but me showing you an amateur that's never built cabinets and building them for their first time, and hopefully highlight some of the mistakes I made. There was a few. I will say most of the mistakes all had to do with me not double checking my measurements. So that saying is true, you know, measure twice, cut once, but honestly, measure about 3 or 4 times, double check your drawings, and you'll be a lot better off. A little bit about the cabinets. I ended up painting them this really light gray and blue because I had it. The tops of them are made out of pine. I will get to that in later videos. I did put T-track on them with some T-track clamps. Miter saw will end up going here. I haven't even set up the miter saw yet. I've had it. Actually, it's right here. But I wanted to wait for a dedicated video where I unbox it, I set it up, and I'm even going to buy this certain dust collection that I've seen on Facebook a lot, and I'm going to try that out, and I'll tell y'all how it works out. I also want to do like a 6-month review on the saw after I've used it for about 6 months. Still kind of nervous on hopefully it sets flush. I did put up some new pegboard. I didn't cover that in any video. It's just metal pegboard. The old traditional pegboard sucked ass, I ain't gonna lie. You put more than 10 pounds on it, it falls out. I do like some pegboard because, you know, some stuff you use a lot, and it's just nice having quick, easy access to it. I did buy some cool knobs for this thing from Etsy. They didn't do a good job on gluing them. They used like some hot glue and they fell off. So as those are falling off, I'm re-epoxying them correctly. So not a big deal. I'm happy with the knobs. They look cool and they kind of match my personality and what I like. I hope you enjoy it. Hope it's not too long for you and you stick through it and maybe learn something, what to do or what not to do. Anyways, let's get to it. As most projects, I started in the big box store. Yeah, them prices were nuts. This handy little thing here, I got the idea from Steve Ramsey on Woodworking for Mere Mortals. Works well. As for the pine, make sure you get good pine. I got the cheaper kind and it was kind of warped. Then I had to clear out my garage. Needed room as I started building these, so it was kind of bittersweet, but I tore down my old workbench, had it for about 10 years, and had to dismantle it. I did reuse some of it in this project, and I also used it to cut the sheet goods on the deck, so I got some use out of them for one last time. I've shown this method so many times in my videos, and I'm not going to hit on it a whole lot in this one. But basically, I use a straight edge, make sure it's square, and then I use my circular saw to make my cuts to break down the sheet goods. Because my table saw won't handle big pieces, so I have to do this. I'll cover this more about why you may not want to do it this way, so stay tuned for that, but this is how I did it. Once I got into a manageable piece, I was able to cut it on my table saw, so that helped. Once I had the sides cut for each cabinet set, I labeled them so I wouldn't get them mixed up, and I set them over on the wall. And now it was time to do the bottom
I
pieces.
just finished cutting all the sheet good. So I got my sides and my bottom pieces. I want to throw out a comment there that if you have the funds, I would go ahead and buy one of those Craig jigs for cutting straight lines with your regular circular saw. Or if you really have the funds, buy you a track saw, because I had trouble getting these all really square with my normal method. It's a good method for every now and then, but when you're doing a whole job and where I really want everything to be really square, it was difficult. And if you haven't done it before and have a lot of experience with it, you're probably going to have a lot of trouble with it, and your stuff's not going to come out square. And I don't want that to be because of me and you saw it on here. So I'm just giving you the warning. It was tough. If you have a lot of experience and doing it that way, you might be fine. I think I'll probably be out of square, maybe some a 16th on some pieces. We'll find out when I'm putting it all together. The next step is dado. So on my drawing, I have the dado groove for the bottom piece, and that's going to come up 1.5 inches from the bottom of the board. So I will be able to use my table saw for that, thank God. And then after that, I'm going to dry put these together. And from there, we'll get our measurement on the runners and the supports for the back and the drawers and all that stuff. I'm gonna cut those once I get this together to get true measurements. I'll show you. Anyways, let's carry on.
Cool little trick I found on TikTok. Draw a line across your saw blade, and then from there, when you put it into your saw and you're ready to use it, all you got to do is use your straight edge and line that line up, and then you know that's perfectly perpendicular, and that's going to be the highest point of your blade. Getting ready to use my dados. I'm not going to go into a lot of detail on that. I did a video on this, or probably a couple, but basically set up my stack, the thickness of the material. I'm going to make some practice cuts until the fit is perfectly the way I want it, and I'm going to cut my dados from there.
I got my dado blade all set. The width, the height, everything's ready to go. Next thing is cutting my dados on the bottom of my piece. First thing you want to think about is which side do you want the dado on. If you had a bunch of tear out or anything like that from your saw blade, you may want to make sure that that tear out is on the same side as your dado, because that's going to be facing the inside. No one will see it. This will be more important if you're doing, I'm sure, like more fine cabinetry and stuff like this. I'm just using this whiteboard, which does get tear out if you don't want that. But I'm painting this anyway, so I don't really care. But I mean, in all actuality, I didn't hardly have any tear out. I'm just throwing that out to you. I'm rambling is what I'm doing.
Cut the first dado, and from here I can kind of check things out and make sure it's good.
And it's a good time to check how square this was. Right on the money, 1.25 inches. The other side is the same. So this piece is good.
After I verified, I went ahead and cut the dados on all my boards, and I marked on the boards on which side I was cutting these dados, so I didn't get confused or mess anything up. And that's one of the things I love about dados is they kind of automatically square up your project. So I just put the bottom piece into the side pieces, and then I use some clamps and stuff, push them together, and it kind of went together pretty well. And I double checked my measurements, make sure I was on. I was a little bit off square, probably because of that straight edge I used. This one's for all my pocket hole haters out there. I used a lot of pocket holes on this cabinetry. Pocket holes are great for cabinetry, y'all. Don't let people tell you they're not. You can hide them. They're quick, they're easy, they're secure if you do them right. Just watch some pocket hole videos. I'm not going to go into detail on these, but basically all my runners and supports in this, I used pocket holes. It worked out just fine. These were just some supports for the top. I put one in the back, one in the front. Y'all, the measurements doesn't matter on this because mine are custom, so you measure this as needed. I made these measurements the same as the bottom measurements, so it's square. You can see there where I'm utilizing 2 clamps because I didn't have any long enough for the top pieces because I was using my longer ones on the bottom. That's a good use of 2 clamps, and you can make them longer that way. I quickly realized that I was going to run out of room as I was building cabinets, so I needed to get to making my bases, or these will ultimately be the toe kicks as well. I used some of my old workbench, cut down those 2x6s or 2x8s, whatever they were, and I'm going to utilize those as the toe kick / base of my cabinets. And I just put these together with some pocket holes and some pocket hole screws, and then from there I can secure it to the floor.
Time to have a little fun. So I have my kick toe plate frame here. I am going to secure it to the ground using this board. I'm going to secure that board, that 2x4, to the ground using my DeWalt nail shooter. It's specifically designed for this. I used this when I built my shed years back, but it uses a 22 round shell, takes a nail, and it drives it into the concrete. And there's a guide on what shell you need and all that good stuff. But simply the shell goes in here into the breech. Sorry, I'm going to play it safe here. You want to put your nail in first before you put your shell. So the nail has kind of a plunger on it. Now I'm going to put in this in case for whatever reason this did go off. I'm not in the way, but it shouldn't go off There's a trigger here, and you have to push down to engage that trigger, kind of like a staple gun or whatever. I better put my earplugs in. Neighbors are going to think I'm over here shooting guns. And then on my tie-in board, or whatever you want to call this 2x4, I did some pocket holes, 2 of them. Those are going to drive into the actual frame and secure it to the ground. I think 2 pocket holes is plenty. It's also going to have the weight of the entire cabinet on it, so I'm not too worried about it. All right, close the breech. Let's try it out. Yeah, we'll put one right about there. There we go.
Worked out pretty good. Before doing this, as you can notice, I had spacers between the wall and this frame. That was to keep it all even along the wall all the way down. From here, I put in my pocket hole screws, and it was plenty secure enough. This is how I did it. I don't know how the professionals do it. Like I said, I'm an amateur. And you can see here, this glue is way too thick. I had some issues. But either way, I trudged on, and then I switched over to my actual 2-gallon jug because it was normal consistency. And I'll cover this in a minute and tell you what happened, but I didn't take care of my glue.
Quick reminder, if you're cold outside, your glue is cold outside. I don't know if you noticed on that first pour when I started pouring on this, it came out really thick. I think the cold got to it. This glue can go down to fairly low temperatures, keep from freezing. So this big bottle ended up being all right. I usually always take this in. Big bottle is fine, but this little bottle was more susceptible, and I think the cold got to it. So I'm having to refill it now. Just a little reminder though, make sure you're bringing your glue inside if your shop isn't, climate controlled. Mine is not climate controlled, and I'm gonna have to bring this in.
To ensure everything stayed the same distance apart for like my faces, my drawer runners, all that good stuff, I went ahead and cut shims, or I guess spacers, to the size that I wanted. So for like my front drawers, I did a 5-inch spacer for all those, and then I left the bottom one as a larger opening, and then from there I'll just make a drawer that fits that. For the runners, I did the same thing. I made a spacer for in between the runners to make sure the fronts and the backs and everything was even spaced, and this will help you later when you're putting in your drawers and stuff.
Almost done with the first Carcass. I haven't been filming a whole lot of it because this is my first time building cabinets, so I get to working and camera, kind of forget about it. Anyways, I'll kind of update you where I'm at. So we got the Carcass pretty much done. I have my runners for my drawers in there. It looks like I'm going to end up having 4 drawers. I'm thinking around 4-inch, 4-inch drawers, and then I'm going to have like a 7-inch drawer, so a deeper one at the bottom, which is going to be really nice. And then I'm going to have this cabinet space. I knew I probably wanted to put some shelving in the back, but I wasn't sure how I was going to do it, but now I figured it out. I'm going to cut one more board. It's going to go back here. I'm just going to run it along those and screw it in from the other side. No need to get fancy with pocket holes or anything on that. It just needs to be on that back side, and I'm going to make it the width of the shelf. So I bought this Craig jig. You've probably seen it on YouTube and stuff. I'll link it in the description, but it's for the little shelf pins and to make them all nice and even, and you can use those shelf pins or hangers or whatever they're called in those little holes, and it make your shelves adjustable. Probably seen it on bookcases and stuff like that. So I'm going to do that on the back. That way, if I'm not utilizing all the space, at least I have some space up top where I can put stuff maybe I don't use very often and have space up there. Try to utilize all the space in the cabinet for all this junk that I've been storing. So that's where we're at. Let's get to trying this thing out.
This pin jig probably would be pretty easy to make. However, I bought the Craig one because I guess I'm a little lazy, but it worked really well, y'all. You can line it up, you draw a line. It's got a place where you can line it up with your lines. That way across the way, is the same, and you put in a little pin and you can just keep moving it down and drilling your holes, and it's got a stop and everything so you don't go too deep. Worked out really well. Now to drill the holes on the other side of the cabinet, as you can see, I already secured that board that I just did the holes in, and I'm gonna put the holes on the other side of it, and I just measured up the exact same height as the holes over there and lined them up and used my clamps, started it, and once you get it clamped on there, you can pretty much go all the way down, and it's got a guide. You can use a level, whatever you need to do just to run these down, and they all lined up perfectly. I had no issues. After I got all my shelf pinholes put in, I went ahead and went around my cabinet and put pocket holes all around it. This is what I'm gonna use to secure the top to my cabinet later on. And I don't know if this is the best way or not, but this is the way I did it, and it worked out well overall. All right, I'm excited now getting to put this thing up where it's gonna be permanently. And unfortunately, I realized that my toe kick was not the distance back that I wanted. So I was gonna have to make some adjustments. So I took it all apart again, went in, cut down my toe kick boards, whatever you wanna call them, the frame on the floor, re-put it back together, and then I was able to put my Carcass back on there with a good toe kick. Everything turned out pretty good.
First Carcass is done. I'm going to end this video with this, y'all. I was going to show you all three, but I thought about it. They're exactly the same. Well, not exactly. I'm going to have one more identical to this one. And then I'm going to have another one that's a little bit more narrow and a little bit shorter, but otherwise the same. Probably going to add a drawer space. And I'm going to use the bottom for a vacuum for dust collection on the miter saw. Miter saw will set right here. Of course, a little bit lower, 3/4 or 3 3/4, whatever it was. I can't remember now. It'll set right there. Electric box should still be able to open. So I'm not going to show you all that boring stuff. I will show y'all when I get into the drawers and stuff like that. I'll do some videos on that. Probably not how to make the drawers. There's a lot of good YouTube videos of other people making drawers out there, and I'm probably not the best one to show y'all unless I just want to show you my mistakes. You can learn from me. Some of the mistakes I made on this, I asked, I'm kind of in my last video planning all this, I asked how many mistakes you think I'll make. It was a lot, y'all. It was a lot of mistakes. None super huge that I can think of. The biggest one is I should have bought something, either a track saw, which is expensive, or a Craig jig or something for cutting sheet goods straight and square. As you saw, I used my normal method, and it was just so many cuts doing it like that. And it is so easy to get off a 1/16 of an inch over a 4-foot, 6-foot span. And I ended up doing that. There was some out of squareness on this. I think I got it all back into square. The only thing I'm worried about on this is the cabinet door area is off by a 1/16 of an inch. I know this is woodworking, so it probably shouldn't matter, but we will find out, and I will make a video on me putting the cabinet doors and drawers in and all that, so you can see my mistakes there. Trying to help y'all learn from my dumb ass. Anyways, I appreciate y'all watching, and maybe some of this helped you helped you figure out what not to do. But I'm here learning with everybody else. I'm not an expert in cabinets. I may be more of an expert in some artist stuff, but cabinets is not my expertise. So I am learning and hopefully showing y'all what I do know and showing you where I mess up so you don't make the same mistake as I did. That's my whole plan here, and that's what I try to do on this channel. Anyways, I gotta get ready for the week. I appreciate y'all watching. I will see y'all next time.